So this is allegedly a supposed trade for the Browns and what it looked like. This one from Bryant McFadden, CBS Sports. Supposedly, the Browns offered 2 ones. I believe that is a third, not a fifth third, or however you want to do that. Kareem Hunt, Greg Newsome, Baker Mayfield. And they say the Texans said no. But Browns 2 ones, we'll say it's a third. Hunt, Newsome, and Mayfield. That's an awful, awful, awful lot to give up for Deshaun Watson.
It's the value of a quarterback these days on the trade market. I think the Russell Wilson deal to Denver certainly kind of sets the market, I think, for what the Texans feel Deshaun Watson's worth. And it's not just going to be about what they feel he's worth. Whoever gets him is going to have to battle with a couple other teams to get Deshaun Watson. So that's naturally going to drive the price back up. But I think when it comes to what the Browns can offer, obviously Baker is one of the better trade assets because he is at worst a solid starting quarterback in the NFL, a guy that can, play all 17 games, and get things done. He can run an offense. He could be very good in the red zone. When he's good, he's really good. I think Mayfield's value in that deal should, in my mind, at least equate to a first-round pick. So essentially, that would be a total of 5+ first-round picks if you attach one each to Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome, who are obviously both first-round picks. That is a ton to give up. But again, as we saw in the NFL, if you have the elite quarterback, it makes the margin for error so much bigger, and that's why these guys just have incredibly inflated value and for good reason. I mean, we saw what the Bengals did this year. They had flaws on many areas of that team, particularly on the offensive line, but they had Joe Burrow, and they still went to the Super Bowl anyway.
Yeah, that might be a little too much for my blood. The 2 ones, Newsome and Mayfield, who are both number 1s, Hunt, who's a really productive running back, that might be just a little too much for me to get Deshaun Watson if the team decides they're willing to deal with that. That just might be. I think that's a little too much to give up. Just your thoughts on that?
It's a lot to give up, but I mean, sometimes when it comes to getting the quarterback, you might have to be willing these days to lose the trade to get the better player. And obviously, if you have the quarterback, like I said, if it's a top 5, top 10 guy like Deshaun Watson is, he's certainly in that upper tier, if not the upper end of the second tier of quarterbacks. It's worth it. It's going to sound like a lot, but again, it's not just about his value. It's the teams you're competing with that are going to drive up that value. So you got to be willing to essentially really push all your chips into the table the same way that the Rams did with Matt Stafford and the Broncos are doing with Russell Wilson. If you want to make that work, you got to be willing to sacrifice a lot of assets to get the quarterback that you think can lead you to winning at least one Super Bowl.